Good morning, good morning, good morning. Let me get this music going.
You feel that energy? We all
One
one love,
love. You already know
one
how I
life.
gotta open it up. How y'all feeling? How y'all feeling this morning? Mm-mm.
All I need is
Good
good
energy.
energy.
I
Don't
don't
need
need
no
no
negativity
negativity around
around me.
me.
High
High
frequency.
frequency.
I'm talking high
High
G-O-D.
energy. Yeah.
Good
Good
energy.
energy. I
I
don't
don't
need
need
no
no
negativity
negativity
around
around
me.
me.
Good
High
morning, good morning.
frequency. I'm talking high
Yeah.
G-O-D.
Song royalty. Hello, 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 Dennis. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Hey. Ah, hey, ah, hey,
Love is
ah,
one piece, one love, one
hey.
life.
Y'all woke
Like
over
this
there?
rose quartz that glow right, crystal vision.
Y'all
Energy
know how I
risen,
gotta open it
foresight
up.
given.
Always gotta have
Misfortune
that good
started giving more
energy.
light. Now I
Hey,
embrace
this is
more
my
days.
theme
Life gives
song
me
for
more
my
life.
show.
I
If
can have
y'all
more
didn't
life. If
know
it
it.
feels more right, yeah. Tell me what's wrong, go right.
Morning,
There's something
morning,
within
morning,
that you can
morning.
never
Your
hide.
first time
Wanted to
here.
talk, but I
Make
told her
sure
you
you
right.
tap that
If you leave me,
fave
I gotta take
button.
you
Tap
home.
that
What's
fave
the best?
button.
Take you my
Hey,
life. No more depression, please don't kill
in
my
my
vibe.
vibes.
Running religion, I'm catching them green lights. Spreading my
Hey,
wings, I'm catching them pre-flights. Happy as
hey.
a bird, out of sight. Singing
Morning,
happy, everything
morning.
gonna
Wake up,
be
wake up.
alright.
If you're
Yeah.
not woke.
Hey,
Hey,
ah,
ah,
hey,
hey,
ah,
ah,
hey,
hey. Ah, hey. Thank you, Sita.
good energy, high frequency.
Can
Give
I
me
get
that
good
fire.
energy, high frequency, y'all? Hey, hey. Better Patron, thank you. Good morning. Okay, y'all, we're about to get started in 2 more minutes, y'all. Hey, hey. Good energy. I don't need a negativity around me. High frequency. We're talking high frequency. Yeah. Good energy. Hey, Katie. What's up, Katie? ATL, well. Hey. Ah. Hey. Ah. Hey. Ah. Hey. Um, Good energy. Wake up, wake up, wake up. Cause this is the morning wake up for everybody. Okay, if I can have my panel go ahead and request the box for me and go ahead and come on up into the panel. Welcome, welcome, welcome. If this is your first time here to the show is called Life Happens with Strawberry Red. A little bit about the show is we talk about some of everything here, okay? From real life experiences to relationships to marriage to finance to business, social media, on the app, off the app, you name it, we talk about it. And this is a feature show, so I do see a couple of other people that are requesting the box. You have to be scheduled here to be on the panel. So if you are interested in being here on the panel, make sure you tap in with my admin, who is my number 4, Southside, or you can tap in with my number 1, Mr. October. His name is Strawberry Assassin right now, or you can hit me on my IG if you're interested in being on the show. Today's topic, we are going to talk about how important is intimacy in the relationship. Joe, looks like your camera is messing up. Try to request it again, Joe, for me, and come back up in the box for me. There are a couple of rules here on the show, as this is a feature show, and this is going to apply to the panel and the ones in the chat. There is no cursing here on the panel, no bad profanity here on the chat. Please be mindful what you say, because as you can see the reds in the chat, they will put you in the hallway, okay? So be mindful what you say. There is no gender bashing. There is no religion bashing. There is no bashing at all. Okay? If you disagree with somebody's opinion on the panel, you can agree to disagree respectfully, as this is their real life experience and this is coming from their perspective. So you may not agree with everything they would say. Now, you can be a part of the discussion because we love to hear your opinion as well. So make sure that you drop your opinions in chat as we go through the questions, okay? So let me introduce you here to the panel here. To my right, we have ATL Quill.
Yeah, what's up, y'all?
And down below under me, we have two Nickels.
Hey.
And then we have Miss Lovely Zena. And we have Uncle Joe, who's going to give you all the tea, okay? Welcome, 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 everyone. Make sure you tap everyone here with the fave. So we going to jump right into it. How important is intimacy in a relationship? Before we even answer that question, I'm going to dive in and we're going to get a male's perspective first. So we're going to tap in over here with ATL Quail. What is intimacy to you? What does that look like?
And of course, it's I forgot I had to remember we featured, so I had to filter. So y'all, let me get it right. So intimacy is just a connection, man. It's a situation where how you feel about somebody in a very very sexual way. That plays a big part. It's probably one of the most important key points to a relationship, because without good intimacy, relationship really ain't gonna go well because the partners are not satisfied.
Okay, I like that. He said the most important part is the physical part. Well, let's get another perspective here from a woman's perspective. Is intimacy just physical to you, Nichols, or is it a little bit more? What does intimacy mean to you?
Definitely more. I think intimacy is being vulnerable and opening yourself to another person and allowing them in. So whether that's physical, mental, both, usually that's what intimacy is to me.
Okay. And how do you let someone in mentally?
I freaking don't. But yeah, just letting your guard down and letting them get to know you on a deeper level.
Okay, yes, on a deeper level. Welcome here to Life Happens here with Strawberry Red. Our topic is how important is intimacy in your relationship. Thank you all for the gifts. We see you down there. Make sure y'all tap everyone here with the fave. And we're going to pass it over here to Uncle Joe. Uncle Joe, what is intimacy to you?
I mean, it's different forms of intimacy, but if we're talking about a relationship and we're going to skip past the physical, my biggest one I like the most is intellectual intimacy. I'm all big about the communication, consistency, and commitment. And without that communication, you cannot get past the surface. You can't go deep. You can't express your ideas freely between two people to really get to know someone. So I think intellectual intimacy is very important when it comes to a relationship.
I like that. Communication. I think a lot of people miss communication in a relationship. I do think that is the most important part, is the communication. I like how Tunica says having that vulnerability. That vulnerability allows you to open up and connect to your partner. And we're going to bring it over here to you, Zena. What is intimacy to you?
I think intimacy is the unspoken connection. You have to understand your partner, or your friend, or whoever you're dealing with in life. There has to be some sort of intimacy there in order for you to know what that person likes, what they dislike. Sometimes I shouldn't have to say, my back hurts. You should be able to tell by my walk or whatever. I guess that's simple, but intimacy is getting to know your partner on an unspoken level, so you guys are able to provide for each other, provide the affection or closeness that person needs based on what you've learned from them. It's learning your partner.
I like that. Learning your partner, the unspoken. I have to agree with that. There's many ways that we can tap in and learn our partner. So this is gonna go over to ATL Quell. What are some ways that you connect with a woman?
Building a bond. I mean, basing it off of loyalty.
Hmm.
So I try to make sure that I communicate the most. Try to find out things that she likes the most, and then things that she's lacking and try to fill in them spots.
Okay. So you're connecting and building a bond and loyalty. So what is it that you need from a woman?
Loyalty. I don't care about love. Somebody can love you and still hurt you. Somebody can love you and still try to destroy you. But if they're loyal to you, even when they hate you, even when y'all on bad terms, they still don't want nothing bad to happen to you.
Okay, okay, okay. And Two Nichols, what about you? What are some ways that you are connecting with a man on a deeper level?
I think it's, all the ways that we said just before with the last question. I agree with Uncle Joe. I'm a sapiosexual, so uh, you know, having intellectual conversation, communication with somebody is really important. I'm also very spiritual, so having that connection, usually with that connection, it just is, and you know it right away. It's not something you build. So when you have that connection intellectually and spiritually, for me, that's the key.
Okay, I like that. And ATL Quell said he need loyalty. What are you needing from a man? Is it loyalty or you need something else?
I need security. I need security. Making me feel like that's where the vulnerability comes from. When you feel secure, that's when you can be vulnerable. So I need security.
And what does security look like for you? Because we got to dive in a little deeper. Because security can mean a lot. It can mean protection. What is that security? It can mean financial security. What is security looking like?
Yeah, no, definitely not financial. I don't need that. I'm good there. But just kind of have knowing that person. Hey, thank you. Knowing that person has your back no matter what, and loyalty is part of that as well. Like ATL Quell said, just knowing that regardless, they're riding for you.
All right. Level up, level up. 45.
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
Hey, thank
Yeah,
you.
so
Famous mailbox. That was for me.
we can definitely have security in many ways. So I'm going to switch this up here because y'all know I like to keep it a little controversial here. Who lacks intimacy the most? Men or
Man,
women?
uh,
And I'm going to pass that over to Zena. I'm going to have you answer that question first. Who lacks the most intimacy? Men or women?
man, all day.
I can't base it on men or women. I think it's based on how people are raised, what people are shown when they are growing up. A lot of children are not loved on when they are raised. I don't think it's based on a gender thing. A lot of women are heartless. I mean, I can't say it's men or women. It's based on how you're raised. If you have loving people around you as you're growing into the person that you're going to be, that's important. And a lot of people are not shown that. A lot of people are treated like crap, growing up. So they don't have a good idea of what being intimate is.
I definitely agree, Mona. Trauma shapes intimacy. Absolutely. Uncle Joe, who's lacking the intimacy? Man or woman? She says she believes it's based on the person and who's being raised. What do you think?
All right, so I got my USA hat on and my Obama t-shirt, so I'm gonna keep it at an American level, since we probably all up here are Americans and we grew up in American society. So in America, I believe definitely men are lacking in intimacy. I mean, just from our community, like my community where I grew up on, men were taught to be hard. We don't express ourselves. We do not cry. We don't have safe spaces where we can be really vulnerable with each other. I mean, because it's all about being hard and cool. By the time you're 8, you already got your cool walk. By the time you're 10, you already probably are influenced by certain activities where it's definitely keep quiet, do not snitch, do not say too much. Women have safe spaces where they can be very vulnerable and open up with one another. They can have intimate settings. Women can go to the bathroom with one another. It's not looked at as something shameful or immoral. Men, 1 out of 10 men suffer from anxiety and depression. Men are 4 times more likely to commit suicide. So when we look at it from a societal level, men definitely do not have that. That intimacy is just something that we're not taught, especially in certain communities. We are definitely taught to kind of be quiet, hold it in, do not express yourself. So men are definitely lacking in the intimacy.
Hmm. I definitely agree. Men are lacking in the intimacy level, and I think it goes hand in hand too with both. You said it's, what y'all are taught to be hard, to be exterior. You can't be vulnerable, and sometimes that goes back to what Zena said, how you're being raised, because you know men and women are not raised the same. Even though we're raised in the same household, but we have parents have different standards for the female and for the male. That's something that we talked about previously when we talked about gender roles. Welcome, welcome everyone here to Life Happens here with Strawberry Red. Our topic is how important is intimacy in your relationship. Make sure you tap everyone here with the fave. We see you all with the gifts. Thank you so much. Make sure y'all engage here in the chat. I see y'all answers. Thank y'all so much for being a part of the show. So Uncle Joe, you said men. How can men open up and start being more vulnerable when they lack that intimacy? How can we get men to open up more with us women?
I mean, it just comes from awareness. Like, even something like your platform like this, men can see it. Like, we got me and ATI, I don't know him, but we definitely two brothers who can open up and be more vulnerable. Women who are out here doing the work, such as yourself, platform, social media, where men can express themselves free from judgment to where they can be vulnerable. And they don't think that it's something shameful or it makes you, your sexual orientation. But most men get scared when they're young men because they think it's going to be, oh, you're this way or you're that way because you're expressing yourself, you're opening up. So as long as in society we start like making it acceptable and we probably encourage it a little bit more through music, through the media, and more men just start opening up, expressing themselves freely, I think more people would catch on.
I like that awareness. We definitely do need more awareness, but I'm gonna bring it over to ATL Quell. What if your partner is not aware that you or she is lacking the intimacy in a relationship? What can you do as a man to be more vulnerable with your woman, or how can you get her to open up and be vulnerable with you?
Um, First and foremost, somebody. I mean, it just goes down to how much they trust you and how much they believe in who you are and what you say. So you got to solidify that first before anybody can open up. You know what I mean? So the worst thing for a man to do is to be vulnerable because that's his masculineship. So with us opening up, it's the hardest because most times, not all women, right? But most times men have been burnt from being vulnerable and it was used against him as a way of weakness, as a sign of weakness. So let's say, he opened up about some things and it actually turned against him instead of for him. So a lot of men are very close-lipped and tight-lipped when it comes to, being vulnerable. I'm gonna be real. Most men even tight-lipped as far as what they do for a living in 2023. That's just our culture right now. Like that's just the world we live in, where it's just we live through our traumas of who we are and what we've been through. And a lot of people have been through some trauma. So when you go to somebody, getting somebody to open up, I just truly don't believe anybody would just open up 100%. Everybody holds back at least 20% of something. I don't care what it is. It's just that's your shield, that's your protection. So you know, but you can try to build that. You know what I mean? It's gonna take some time, but you definitely they gotta believe in you though. Like they gotta be able to look in your eyes and kind of like know how you feel and what you think, and then really like learn who you are, and you gotta learn who they are. So time.
With time, I agree. Time, trust. You definitely have to trust your partner to be able to open up, to be able to tell them something. And that comes with a lot of people don't know how to date or be in a relationship because we don't know how to ask those deeper questions. We ask the surface questions, but we don't dig a little deeper where we need to ask more deeper questions. There's something that you mentioned that men get burnt. Have you been burnt opening up to a woman by being vulnerable?
100 times for sure, for sure. I never do it again. I mean, that's why I'm so tight lip on everything. I don't care what it is. It's just, um, um, even in my marriage, I was married for 7 years. Perfect marriage, great marriage, by the way. But even in that situation, the times that I tried to open up, and be transparent, it actually was me giving bullets to to an empty gun that she already had. So it's just like kind of
Facts.
screwed myself in that, But that's the hardest thing is when you're trying to when you're trying to be transparent, you're trying to open up. And for a man, it don't work the same as for a woman. Y'all can tell us anything, and then a man will take it and try to, some men manipulate it, some men draw closer to you, and some men run away. For when you flip that, if I'm too vulnerable, I may lose the respect that you have for me when you look at me, if that makes sense. So a lot of men, when they are vulnerable, the respect gets lost for the person that they're trying to date because they may go too deep. The woman may have had this whole perception of this hard, interior man the whole time. He's got so many emotions and things that he's got bottled up. When it come out, and he trusted you to kind of like disclose that. I don't really see it ever go in a positive way. It's always kind of like, it turns into a weapon against itself. So,
I definitely can see that. I think a lot of women, I can contest, will use it against the man. I think more when they become angry or upset. As far as me as a woman, I don't think I would lose respect for my man. I think that would gain more respect because I felt like he was able to open up and trust me and be vulnerable with me. As some men don't cry, but I have seen a man cry before, and that was at his most vulnerable stage, where he was able to open up for me. And I had more respect because I felt like, dang, this man really loved me. He trusts me. He's able to open up and tell me his most vulnerable state that he's in. And as far as me, I would never use it against him. Never, no matter what we go through. Because that was something that he opened up to me. But vice versa, like you said, sometimes as women, when we open up to a man, and they can use it in many ways. They can manipulate us because they already know how we're feeling. They can tell us what they think they want us to hear. And now we done got vulnerable and open with them, and then we get heartbroken after we opened up. And then sometimes they say that makes them an angry woman, but it really doesn't. It's just that we're really hurt and we don't know how to deal with it. As far as what you said, now you said you won't do it again, but is it the next person's fault that your ex-wife did that to you? Now you kind of not open up and be vulnerable with the next person. So now we're lacking that intimacy connection because of what the last person did in the relationship. So maybe we need to go through a healing stage and a process to be able to open up with the next partner and not blame her for what your previous wife did. So I'm gonna bring it down over here to Two Nichols. Two Nichols, he said that women use the vulnerability. Well, it has been used against him. How do you feel when you're vulnerable with a man? Are you very open and transparent with your man? And have you ever felt manipulated in a situation?
Yeah, I think we've all been manipulated in that situation, and I think there's layers. Everybody's talking about past traumas, and we all have traumas, and there's layers because we grow extra skin, and we're trying to keep people out, and so you have to be able to peel back the layers, but slowly. So you don't just trust somebody right away, but women are emotional beings. So for us, yeah, I do think that a lot of women can use the vulnerability against their man, but I think it goes both ways for sure. And it's just a matter of peeling back the layers and having the trust and consideration when somebody is allowing you to peel back those layers.
Right, absolutely.
and partnering into that, right? That's not just the ex-wife. That's my whole entire life. I've never seen any woman that in my life that I've been vulnerable with that it didn't come back up later on, rather an argument, rather bad terms. I could think our way back to middle school dating stuff. Like I just ain't ever seen it.
Going way back.
Like, for real, I ain't never seen it ever. Like, what I'm basically saying is, I'm trying to give y'all from a male standpoint. When you grow up and you literally continuously, it's the same thing. This ain't like one person. This is just, you go to looking at it like all women do it at some point, and it's all because of frustration. Most times, a lot of these things that you just say, like Joe or myself, we might open up about, it might not come up into the worst argument, and then it turns into this whole other, you know what I'm saying? Like, because that's when a lot of people start spewing out a lot of what I call the venom. You know what I mean? When they get into these heated arguments, and those words cut. You know what I'm saying? Like, I've seen that really cut me in. So I'm not saying I ain't forget her. I'm talking about before her. You know what I'm saying? It's always like that.
I don't know if I could just talk. I was waiting on you to acknowledge me,
Yes,
Strawberry,
I'm
right?
coming, Zena. I'm coming. coming. Just let
Get
it
in
sit
there,
back.
Zena.
It's coming. It's coming.
So like, I want a chance. Double dutch, double dutch.
It's coming. It's coming, baby. Welcome to Life
Got to
Happens
jump
here
in
with
there. Get
Strawberry
in there.
Red. Our topic is how important is intimacy in a relationship. Make sure y'all tap the fave button. Hit everyone here. We see y'all with the gifts. Thank y'all so much. Please make sure y'all engage here in the chat. There was a question that Chakra asked in the chat. It says, in a relationship, when lacking intimacy, how does that look when addressing it or bringing it up? Especially, a lot of people don't know what intimacy is. So I'm going to bring it over to you, Zena, and then I'm going to have you answer Chakra's question.
So people aren't peopling, right? Like the way that we're supposed to treat each other out here, we don't. So I think like a lot of things that are supposed to be normalized, intimacy, good relationships, good treatment, not burning each other, not sending this person off with hurt, that they are possibly going to exhibit onto that next person. Um, Most of the time we don't know. And we aren't going to know until we actually start being humane. You know what I'm saying? Like, until we start being decent to each other, we're not going to know. And what I was going to say to ATL Quail, like, I'm going to be accountable. I have 3 children. Over the course of my life, I have not chose good men. I mean, good men for me. So I think we have to be very accountable when it comes to who we've chosen to express ourselves to be vulnerable to. We like people because of how they look, because of what they have, because of how they seem to be, but they're not actually good people. And we don't wait long enough to see if they're good people. We hop in it because we like this person, or we're infatuated with them, but those people aren't really for us. 9 times out of 10, we're dealing with a person that is not for us. So of course you're going to get burnt. Of course they're not going to have your best intentions at heart. Or I'm scrambling my words, but we are choosing people based on temporary things. We aren't actually feeling this person out to see if this is the person for me, if they actually have all the traits that I need to have a successful relationship. We do not do that. We're ready. We're ready to jump to that next step, and we don't give that time. And that's very important. We're not going to know what intimacy is because we are not really getting with people for long-term things. We're getting with people for a temporary satisfaction, and it ends up being a crappy situation and a story to talk about because that person was not for you.
Absolutely. I think nowadays we do rush into a lot of things and a lot of relationships because, like you said, we're just so ready to want to be with someone. And a lot of times people don't know how to be by themselves at all. And it starts with getting to know who you are as a person. And
Right.
ATL Quell mentioned about 20% of it is what we get. But there's actually an 80-20% rule. 80% is what you get in your relationship. Your wants, your needs are being met from your partner. And the other 20% comes from yourself. where you have to find what you need from yourself and dig a little deep to satisfy what you need. And that's going back to Chakra's question. How do you know that it's lacking, or how do you answer that question? Well, you got to open up and talk. And I think a lot of things, sometimes we hold back what our true feelings are. So if I'm not getting that love and that connection, like, hey, what's going on? We got to look at what is causing those issues. So what causes issues where we lack intimacy? Well, I'm just going to start off and say arguments. You don't want to be bothered. Don't touch me. Don't come near me. If we're arguing, I'm frustrated. I'm irritated. I'm irritable.
Resentment.
Right.
Resentment.
Resentment. Exactly. So that's going to go into my next question. What are causing intimacy issues in a relationship? And Zena, like, I got the hand, but I'm going to hold off on you, Zena. I'm going to bring it back to you. And I'm going to bring that over to Joe. But before I do, Pillow said something in chat that I want to read out her comment, because I want to make sure that I get everyone's comment here. Pillow said, intimacy starts with myself and other to be able to show my partner. I definitely agree with that. Pillow definitely starts with yourself. There's a couple of more comments I want to read off here. Shaka said, people just in the relationship, if it's lacking, never discuss what they need from their partner. Exactly. Communication is a big key, says Select. And there are a few more comments I'm going to read. Mona said, because we live in a microwave-driven society. Microwave. Everybody want instant gratification. What is a microwave-driven society? Mona. And I'm going to bring this over to Joe. Back to our original question is, what are some of the issues being caused in a relationship that is causing us to lack that intimacy?
All right, so I'm like AT. I've been married before, and I agree with some of the things that Zena says. So I'm gonna say it like this: when we meet people, when we first meet them, like Zena was talking about, being the superficial, the surface level. When we meet people like the press, like it's all good. They're the representative, and that's who we usually fall in love with. That's the person that we love. It's that person that was bringing on the representative. You didn't know the sexual history. You didn't know the sexual past. You didn't know the bad credit. You didn't know the student loans. You didn't know the traumas. You didn't know just the generational curses that they had in that family. So once you start over time, the real person starts coming out, and it's time to be mindful. And you've been super vulnerable with this person. You lose that trust. Once that communication comes on and says, wait a minute, you didn't tell me that. You said you had a 800 credit score. Now you've got bad credit. You practice good hygiene. Now you don't practice that anymore. You start finding out things over time when the real person actually comes up. And we all do it. We put our best foot forward. We put on the best version of ourselves when we really want to get that person that we're really that we really connecting with. So I believe that's one of the things, like over time, just the real person comes out, and that's not the person you signed up to be in that relationship with.
I like to call them pretenders. People pretend all the time.
If I could piggyback off of that, right?
Wait 1 second, Quail. I told Zena I would bring it right back to Uncle Joe, then I bring it to you. Did you want to go ahead and add your input, Zena?
No, I was speaking to somebody that I saw come in.
Oh, okay. Go ahead, AT Quail.
But now what I was going to say is that, another thing plays a part in this is age and time. I'm 30 now, I'll be 40. So you lose a lot of patience, you know what I'm saying, as you get older, because you got to think, if I do this 8 more years, right, I'll be like 47. Then if I do another 10 years, I'll be 50. See what I'm saying? So it's not the fact of opening up and those things. It's just that, the compromise, you know what I mean? That's probably one of the biggest things that I've come to find out that really works, compromising. And then I don't dig so deep when I first meet somebody. I don't just go straight all the way into their world and this, that, and the third. I kind of judge off of their character and how much they disclose from the beginning. If they're super, super secret, they probably got a lot of secrets. You know what I mean? If they're kind of more transparent, they're like, listen, this is what's going on. This is what I want to do. This is what I'm trying to go at. And they kind of like present it in the beginning, and I know what I'm working with. But at the end of the day, we all take a chance that a person won't be who they say are. That's why you have people, especially me, you have a man that's dating a woman for 7 years, and then he'll be married to another woman for 10 years. Like you got double household situations that happen, and it's like, how can that be? But that's just because you just never know a person truly. Nobody can really know everything unless you just allow a person allows it to be known. So.
Welcome here to Life Happens here with Strawberry Red. Our topic is how important is intimacy in your relationship. Make sure you tap everyone here with a fave. I see y'all. Good morning. Good morning. Thank y'all for the gifts. And ATL Quell, I'm gonna have to be like Zena. Maybe some accountability here. You say you don't open up right away. Do you think that could be the problem of not open up and just saying it from the start?
I never said it was a problem. I'm good. I like what I have, and then I like being alone, so ain't no problem. I love what I got. And when you got your own piece,
I agree with him.
Ain't no problem. I'm cool with it. I'm not searching, you know what I mean? That work out a lot better right now. So, if it happen, but I'll compromise when time comes to compromise. So I don't mind.
But this is where I'm gonna have to go back to. I'm a nitpick. You know what I'm saying? I'm a nitpick a little bit, okay? Because you said I ain't met no woman that open up that would not use it against me after I open up. So
everybody gonna do that. I ain't going for that. Always.
Yeah.
My mama do that. So my mama do that. So it don't matter what a female talking about. Like my mama do that. She raised me. My aunts do that. You know what I mean? Like a human gonna do what a human gonna do. That's what I've learned to understand. Humans gonna do what humans gonna do. You can't control a human. We all have flaws. So I don't look for that. You know what I mean? So I know you're gonna do it. I don't care how you say it. I don't care how long you try to act like this. Then you're gonna do it at some point because I'm gonna piss y'all.
Okay, he feel like somebody can do it eventually. Two nickels as a woman yourself. Going back to the original question, what do you think are causing some of the intimacy issues in someone's relationship?
Yeah, I mean, I used the word resentment earlier when people can't let go of, things in the past. And I think resentment is huge. And again, like going back to what we need from our partner to be able to be intimate, not getting those things. And a lot of times, like them, I'm 48. I got married at 23. I was married for 10 years. And, that kind of went back to like, it shaped a lot of things of how relationships work for me. So I've had to take that time to heal and be like, okay, not every relationship is like that. But I think, there's a lot of things when you're in a relationship like that, marriage, kids, everything comes into play. Like Uncle Joe was talking about, credit, finances, everything, parenting, all that stuff. It can all be used against your partner when it comes to intimacy, because if you're not in alignment with all of those things, then resentment comes in and that can ruin the intimacy.
I definitely agree. So we have resentment. I mentioned argument. ATL Quell mentioned compromise. Uncle Joe mentioned, having patience, taking out the time to get to know your partner. And Zena, what are some issues? I know you want to add on to that. What are some issues that are causing intimacy in a relationship that you notice?
So I kind of want to step back, right? Because like if I never had McDonald's ice cream and all of y'all had McDonald's ice cream and y'all are telling me, oh, it's nasty, and I'm like, no, I'm sure it's amazing. You know what I'm saying? You have like a beautiful idea of what it could be or what it should be. I've never been married. I've had maybe 2 serious relationships. I don't like people. So I don't get involved with people. You know what I'm saying? I don't get involved with people. So, the idea that I have, the way that people are or the way that people should be may be a fairy tale. And, people that have actually gone through things with people, they may be, I keep saying maybe, they probably are correct as far as how people are generally more so because they have that experience. But in my mind, if I'm, if you do certain things or if I see certain traits about you, there's no reason for me to go further. Hey twin, there's no reason for me to go further with you. I don't know. I mean, I guess you're supposed to stick it out, but I forgot the question.
Well, you kind of answered it about what are some of the issues related to intimacy. Zeta just talking. Zeta.
Zeta's just busy saying hello to everybody in the comments.
She had turned into a fave party.
It's okay.
I'm sorry.
It's okay, Zeta. Okay. So my next question is going to be that we talking about what are the issues, right? What are the signs? And I'm going to bring this over to Nichols. What signs do you notice in your man or any other man or friend? What do you notice that can tell you signs that they're lacking intimacy?
Signs that they're lacking intimacy. So the question, to be more specific, is like they had that in the beginning, but then things are changing.
Yes. So how do you know someone is lacking it? Can you tell? Do you see different signs in them? Do they change?
Yeah, I mean, because again, like intimacy is vulnerability and being kind and being connected and all of those things and having somebody's back and knowing that's that they ride for you. So if you start to feel like that connection is not as strong as it was, or that they don't have your best interest in mind at all times, then that's easy. People start nagging, people start just not wanting physical intimacy all the time. Because if you're really connected to your partner and you really are emotionally connected and intimately connected emotionally, then you want that physical too. And if you start not wanting that, that's a telltale sign.
Mm-hmm. I like that, definitely. How do you know they really ride for you? Mm-hmm. If your feelings aren't there, you can't be intimate. Someone says that intimacy is the physical act. Well, intimacy can be a lot. Well, I'm going to give y'all some examples here, and then I'm going to have y'all feed off of this. And this next question is going to go to ATL Quell. Same question that I gave to Nichols. But what are some signs, okay, that you notice that your man or maybe someone else's man or is not getting that intimacy? Well, men, they have anxiety. They seem more stressed out because they don't have the ability to release that good hormone. So they stressed out. Okay. Men also go in depression if they not being able to release that good hormone. So what are some signs that y'all are noticing when a man is not being intimate? And I'm going to pass that over to ATL Quell, but I'm going to reverse it. What are some signs that you notice a woman is not being intimate? How is she acting?
Like my partner is not being intimate?
Mm-hmm. Correct.
I remember we featured, so I was finna say, he ain't getting none. Just simply that. She nonchalant in the house. She's sleeping way low on the other side of the bed, like that way to the wall. I need you to come over here. You know what I'm saying? You got too much space in between us. A ghost can lay down and be right there the whole night. I need you to come closer. So, they be real distant in the house. Very dismissive, you know what I mean? There's a lot of signs. I always go off of what happened. When you get in the bed, that let me know where we stand at. If you don't come over here and lay on me, it's a problem. You know what I'm saying? So we need to get on up and fix this now. Like, I ain't waking up with this in the morning, so we can go and talk about it now. But that's really one of my telltale signs. You sleep way over there. Oh yeah, and then your back is to me. Oh yeah, we got a problem. Oh yeah, something wrong. So that's one of my biggest telltale signs.
And what about you, Uncle Joe? What are some signs that you notice someone is not being intimate as far as a woman goes?
Okay, can I break it down real quick and just use TV show as an example? And two Nichols know I'm coming from because we're the same age, but it was a show back in the day called Married with Children, and it was Al Bundy and the Bundy family. And Al never wanted. He had this beautiful wife, but we thought she was beautiful. All the kids at the bus stop I went to school with, and we was like, why is Al not smashing that? Like she is looking gorgeous. But when I got married, I understood because what happens in a relationship is men will say women are nagging us because it's probably a breakdown in the communication and we stop talking, whether it's work, it's stress, it's anxiety, it's depression. It's some of these outside factors we bring into the home, we bring into the marriage, and our women, and we say she's nagging. So when we get that nagging, it's just a woman trying to say, why you not talking to me? Why we not talking anymore? What's going on? And trying to get us to open up, like ATL was talking about. Then we start distancing ourselves and detaching because we don't want to hear it. It's too much stimulation. And creatures of habit, they notice a change. It's a pattern. Someone is moving in one side of the house, the other person is sleeping in the bed with the kids, and right there is it's the recipe for disaster in a relationship. That breakdown in communication, people start distancing themselves. Then you lack in the physical because men, once we start getting nagged like Al Bundy, we ain't smashing. I mean, maybe some other people are, but it's hard for me to smash with somebody that shame, insult, guilt, and we're having arguments. I usually detach and retreat.
And Cupid say he want to smash her if she's nagging. I hear that.
I
I
love
hear
I love
that.
how Uncle Joe said exactly what I said, just in a different way.
Absolutely, absolutely. Welcome here to Life Happens here with Strawberry Ray. We're talking about how important is intimacy in your relationship. We see y'all. Thank y'all for the gifts. Make sure y'all hit everyone here with the fave. And I'm gonna ask this question because a lot of people date online, they have long distance relationships, and sometimes they can still be in the same state and still be distanced from their partner. Do you think a relationship can last with no intimacy? Hmm.
Oh, my bad. HELLLLLL with a capital L and then a capital N with like 17 no's, like the O's, but you just gotta put the word no in there, like with it. Yeah, ain't no way possible. That ain't happening.
The
Man,
Don the Don said it depends. It
it
depends.
must be gone.
What do you think, too, Nichols? Do you think a relationship can last with no intimacy?
It depends on how long. I mean, because again, if we're talking physical intimacy, then as long as you still have that close connection until the next time you see each other or until, that physical happens again, then I think it can survive. But, it depends on how long we're talking about. And I think it's really important to focus on fulfilling each other's needs in other ways in that time that you're not intimate.
Right, absolutely. Yes, you're bad, Major, as this is a feature show, you polarizing it across the stream. Okay. um, it depends. I agree with both of y'all. Depends how long it lasts. Because we all need intimacy in our life. Whether we say we don't, we do. So depending on how long you can go, intimacy, we can get an intimacy through emotional connection, which in order sometimes to get that emotional connection, sometimes you need that physical connection in order to connect with someone emotionally, mentally, spiritually. You got to have some type of contact. Without that contact, it's definitely not going to last. And that's going to get to you having a wandering eye. And you're gonna be leading and looking over here to the right at ATL Quail and be like, he's looking kind of good because Joe ain't giving me what I need down there. But ATL's giving me what I need because he's talking nice and sweet in my ear. But Uncle Joe's telling me something nice, but I ain't ever getting it. So then we start wandering. We don't want them wandering eyes. And so we got to start opening up and communicating to our partner our wants and our needs. Someone asked the question, I think it was Chakra, how do we do that? Just open up and talk. Say what it is. Be transparent. Be open about what you need from your partner. Stop holding back. Whether it's going to hurt your partner feelings or not, do it because they might not even know, or they may know and they just don't care. And then it may just be time to call it a wrap because This goes into the next question. Do you believe intimacy can end a relationship? And I'm going to bring that over to Zena.
So I think we keep referring back to intercourse, right? And although you are intimate through intercourse, there are other ways that you can be intimate with a person. Um, but Joe's intimacy or the way that he likes to be intimate, I might not like that intimacy. So we may lack intimacy because we're not on the same page. Um, what was the question? Sorry.
Can a
What was the
relationship
question?
last with no intimacy? Intimacy, it could
No,
be physical, your emotional, spiritual.
okay. I don't believe that it can last with no intimacy. I don't think that intercourse is the only type of intimacy, but I don't think that a relationship can last without intimacy. 0%.
Okay. And I'm going to bring it over to Uncle Joe. Do you think a relationship can last without intimacy?
Absolutely, it can last without intimacy. And I'm going to use a book as an example, The Alchemist. If you haven't read it, you got to read it. It's the journey of Santiago. And I'm not going to break down, but it's a segment in the book during his journey. He met a woman and he wanted to stay with her, but she came from a village of warriors. So they understood what that man left. They understood the assignment that that man would probably not come back home, or they would come back home and they would pick up where they left off. I'm a military guy, been in the military for 20 years, retirement party coming up. Make sure you check me out. Um, some women in the military, some of the spouses, they have that expectation management that, hey, my career is going to have me leave for a period of time, but we have loyalty and we have trust and we have love for one another. This is how we make money. This is how we get paid. This is how the family is taken care of. So if you understand the assignment and you're not a selfish person, we're human, and you say, this is what my bae is doing. I understand. Distance makes the heart go fond. And when we see each other again, we're going to pick up where we left off. So I believe they can, not ideal, but they can last with no intimacy.
So a
Okay, we have
business
someone that can.
relationship,
What'd you say, Zena?
like a business relationship with y'all, huh?
That's for you, Joe.
Back to understand the assignment, like expectation management in the beginning of a relationship. Um, Everything doesn't have to be sex. Distance does make the heart grow fond. And you can have those conversations with your partner if you trust your partner. I've seen some guys say, hey, not in my house, not in my car, not around my kids. I'm giving you the free pass. I'm on this deployment for a year. Not ideal, but some people in that relationship, they do things that work for them. Maybe what might look strange to us, there's some people that have progressive relationships. They're very open-minded. Some of us are a little more conservative, closed-minded, a little territorial. Well, that wouldn't work for us. But some people can. They just know how to make a relationship work without intimacy, without communication, without physical communication. We had as three forms: verbal, nonverbal, and body language. And they don't have it because they understand what is going on at the time, why they have that distance, and why they have that lack of intimacy in a relationship.
Mm. She said, we just humping. Whew. Uh, Someone said it's very hard because they needy. I agree. I need my attention, whether it's emotional, physical. I need to connect with my partner. It's definitely hard. Someone threw a little shade and said, military, there's a lot of adultery there. In the military. I saw the little shade down there.
Both sides too.
Oh, yeah.
Smacking cheeks in the bunkers. My bad. All right. I had to slide in. I had to. I'm sorry. All right, let me slide it up.
Yes, both sides for sure.
Yeah,
Very
both
true.
sides. Both sides, okay? No, who's being more faithful, the men or the women? We'll say that for
The
another
minimum.
day.
Honestly, I would say the man too. I would.
Well, y'all, this is getting close to the end of our show here. Intimacy. Okay? If y'all didn't learn anything here today, you learned something today, okay? Because you can't say you ain't walk away not learning something today, okay? Communication. Communicate with your partner. Open up and say what you need from your partner. Loyalty, okay? This came from a man's perspective. He needs loyalty before love, okay? Respect, okay? Respect your partner. And trust your partner, okay? You need to build that trust, okay? And also, I'm going to add in this, heal from your past trauma. Okay? Heal from your past trauma that you dealt with. That way you can be vulnerable and open up with your partner. But make sure you ask those deeper questions and try to connect more with your partner and say what it is that you need. Remember, it's important to make sure you get what you need, because happiness is important. Happiness starts with from yourself. In order to be able to bring happiness to someone else, you have to be happy first. All right. Thank y'all so much. We're going to have everyone here on the panel tell a little bit about themselves and what they got going on. So we're going to start here with ATL Quell. Tell them who you are and what you have coming up.
Hey, man, I'm ATL Live, man, one of the mentors on the app. Of course, I run Rip the Runway. And then the new show, Couples Retreat. So if y'all want to see something pretty crazy, definitely pop in on a Sunday at 8 o'clock, man. I got like 2 other shows I'm supposed to be doing with Top Badge, Jeannie, and Jamarcus. So I'll be posting on my Instagram, man. Follow me on my Instagram. I appreciate y'all.
Okay, we'll definitely do. And to Nichols, if you can tell them a little bit about yourself and what you have going on.
Yeah, first I just want to thank you for bringing me on the show, Strawberry. You host a great show, and I'm happy to be here. And the panel was great, so thank you for that. And for myself, I'm kind of taking it easy right now. I think it's time for me to start working on some different content, and I'm thinking about some different things. But I spent kind of like the last 6 months on Gunny's team and putting a lot of effort into that. And now that I'm not there anymore, I have time to focus on what I want to do here on the app. So I'm just looking forward to that. And I stream most evenings, but after 7 p.m. between 7 and 10, and on the weekends.
Okay, and Zena, if you can tell me a little bit about yourself.
I stream every day. Usually, I just kind of started taking breaks on the weekends, so at least Monday through Friday. But I'm usually on Monday through Sunday. Come check me out. I'll be working. I don't be talking about nothing, but I will. We can have a great conversation. I just don't talk to myself. I do not sit in my stream and talk to myself. So if nobody's talking, you come in there and it's quiet, it's because there's nothing going on. I appreciate the engagement, but I ain't crazy. I don't talk to myself. I'm live.
And Uncle Joe, you can tell them what you got going on.
Thanks for having me, Strawberry. I really appreciate it. And I like tapping in the ATL Red. I hit him with a fave Zena, and I've already chopped it up with 2 Nichols. Love the panel. Love the different perspective. I'm Uncle Joe. I am an uncle, military guy, about to retire, older G on the app. Want to spread that awareness in the stream from the PLV Lounge. That's the Peaceful Loving Vibe Lounge. Uncle Joe is always on the 1s and 2s. Got some content coming up that I'm working on with a couple of buddies of mine, getting into some day trading options. If people want to learn how to do that while we're swiping on the app, let's swipe in to Robinhood app and make a little bit of money. And also, I'm a contracting officer with the federal government. I want to spread some information to the community about getting in with the federal government and learning how to get into the federal government and make some of that money. A lot of set aside money for people out here with small businesses. Definitely want to get into the business aspect of the app as well as the good times. And that's Uncle Joe. Thank you for having me.
Uncle Joe, make sure y'all fave everyone here on the panel. Thank y'all so much for being a part of the show. ATL Quell, 2 Nichols, Zena, Uncle Joe, y'all can drop. If you're ever interested in being back on the show, please let me know. It's been a pleasure of having y'all here on the show. And a little bit here about your host here, Strawberry Red. As you know, a couple of things. The show is every Thursday at 8 a.m. Eastern time zone. Make sure y'all tap in every Thursday, because every week we're talking about different topics. Yesterday, it was a really hot stream yesterday, so we have some upcoming topics that are going to be juicy. So if you are interested in being on the panel, make sure that you be here. Okay, I have an event that I am hosting. It is called Tag Professionals, okay, with Strawberry Red. If you do any business here on Tag, this is an event for you. Y'all just hearing bonuses, Cupid. October. Woo! Bonus day. That lightning in the bonuses, y'all. I don't never get bonuses. Woo, 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 woo. About doggone time. Woo. Okay, back to business. August 5th, I will be hosting a Tag Business Festival. So if you do any business here on Tag, if you have a feature show, you are a DJ, you make flyers, you're a content creator, this event is for you. Make sure that you sign up. This is going to allow you to be able to present yourself here and get new clients, put yourself out there. So let's do business together, okay? Let's do business together. So make sure you hit me up or tap in with my number 4, who is my admin Southside. I'm looking for 10 people to sign up. I will also be hosting Neria's birthday auction August 20th. So make sure you tap in. Definitely log into her stream and tap in. I will be hosting her birthday auction coming up. And I also will be coming into a couple of other feature shows with a couple of people. So make sure you tap in. If you're not part of my IG, make sure that you add my IG. And if you missed the show or came in late, you still can catch it. Make sure you tap in and subscribe to my YouTube channel, as I will be adding it here. Later on, you'll see the show uploaded. Thank y'all so much. And now, as always, we're going to get to the after show, because I know y'all got some things to talk about.